Let's talk about breaking down silos in an organization or achieving alignment to be more positive. And silos are one of the things that really destroys organizations because they make people work against one another. And in order to avoid that, what leaders of an organization have to do is create a sense of unity around what they're trying to do. And we like to call this a rallying cry or a thematic goal. And I don't want to go into the details of that here, but I want to help you understand why this is so important. And the way I kind of stumbled upon the importance of this is I looked at certain kinds of organizations that never seem to have silos, where there's alignment and unity at the top and throughout the organization. And what I found is that in a hospital, hospitals struggle with this, but not the ER. The emergency room, nobody ever wonders like, whose budget is this or whose job it is this? People just work together seamlessly. I think it's really impressive. And I think about firefighters during a fire, trying to address something really in an emergency. I think about soldiers on a rescue mission or anybody dealing with an emergency. So what's the key to that? An emergency provides a really clear understanding of the most important priority. And I thought, why can't we help every organization have the same level of unity, clarity, of purpose, even when there's not an emergency? Because what we shouldn't do is go create false emergencies. That's dishonest. What we should do is try to replicate that same sense of clarity. And we can do that. And that's where the thematic goal comes into play. Or as I like to call it, the rallying cry. You should be able to go to anyone on your leadership team and potentially, depending on what it is, even deeper into the organization and say at any given period of time, what's the most important thing going on right now? What's the single thing that we're all thinking about doing? And even though we have day jobs where we have to do our regular responsibilities, what are we thinking about as we're going about those day jobs? What is it all leading to, and what are we trying to accomplish? And the key to a really good rallying cry or a thematic goal is that it has to be one thing. So many leaders say, can't we have three? And the answer is no. You have to say, at the end of the day, if there is only one thing we do, what is that? We might have secondary or tertiary things we want to do, but we have to make sure that whatever is most important remains most important. The second thing is it has to be qualitative. And I know that sounds weird, but everybody wants to put a metric on something, but a rallying cry, we call it thematic, because as soon as you put a number on it, it limits your thinking. It has to be something like we are trying to accomplish this. Now, we are going to get to the place where there's numbers, but that we have to start by saying it's a general approach and a general outcome that we're trying to get before we start talking about measurements. The other thing is it has to apply across the organization. It can't be something that only one department does. Now, it might be something that falls primarily in one department, but everybody on the leadership team has to be able to say, I will do whatever I can to make sure we accomplish that through my department or just through me as an individual. So the power of breaking down silos comes from having a clear rallying cry, making sure that there's one across the whole team and that it's not limited by a metric. If we can do that and then fill this out by figuring out how we're going to go about doing that and who needs to do what, we're going to really eliminate the possibility that silos are going to creep up in our organizations and start dividing people and creating dysfunction.